All right, welcome back to the Pores Are in the Guns. Today we're talking about AR-15 grips, why you might choose one over another, and the different options that are out there on the market. All right, so we're starting off with the A2 grip. This is the most common grip on the market. It comes on anything from a cheap Palmetto AR to a more advanced, like an FN AR, and most AR-15s are going to come with this one. It is a really slim grip compared to the ones that we are going to be talking about in a little bit. It has this nub that I know it's either hit and miss. Some people really like it, some people it doesn't bother them, and it's pretty hit and miss there. It's got an interesting texture to it. It's got like these lines along the back which feel fine, and then it's got this interesting checkering, which it feels fine, but it lacks some of the other features of the grips we're about to talk about. So next up on our list, we have the Magpul SL in FDE. And this one is a little bit different than the A2, although it is similar in the fact that it is slim like the A2. It has a little bit different checkering on the back and the front, but no nub, as you can see. And then it's got like this interesting, almost like sprinkles looking texture on the sides, which I like. It's a comfortable grip. And then one key feature that it has is the beaver tail that keeps your hand from going too far up and keeps your finger angled towards the trigger. So I really like that feature. Yeah. The Magpul SL is a good upgrade for people that like the A2 but weren't in love with it and wanted a slight upgrade. All right, next up we have the MOE, just the standard MOE, and it has similar texturing to the MOE SL. And one thing that sets this apart from the SL is it is a little bit wider of a grip. It's got a little bit of a palm swell going on, maybe to hold it like that. So for people that don't have smaller hands, or maybe you just have like medium to large size hands, I think you'll like this one a little bit more. So it's got the beaver tail, but it's got this grip that fits into your hand a little bit bigger, and most people prefer it. And then one thing that this has that the MOE SL does not have, and is standard over all the MOEs, is the storage compartment. So if you want to store like batteries or oil or something like that, that's a good little place to put it. And what I like to do typically with mine, if I store like batteries or something like that, is I will put it in a plastic bag and like let the air out. That way it's not like rattling around in there. So, yeah. Next up, we have the Magpul K2 Plus grip, which is different than the K2. So if you ever see a plus on a Magpul grip, what sets it apart is it has rubber overmolding. And I prefer this texture. I think it makes it a little bit easier to grip when you're trying to grip the gun. I think it's nice when you're not wearing gloves. And then if you are wearing gloves, it really doesn't matter. It's just personal preference on whether you get the rubber overmold or not. And the main difference between the K2 grip and the others we just talked about is it has an extreme vertical angle to it. So the others, you're kind of angled a little bit more back. This has almost a right angle on aiming, and a lot of people prefer that, especially if you run like more of a collapsed stock in. It makes it a lot easier to fire that versus like you think about like a hunting rifle where you're like gripping like that, right? So it's just different, and I don't know, I think after a while most people like the K2 after running an AR-15. All right, so when we were talking about grip angles, so this is like a traditional rifle grip angle, right? And so when you hold it out like this, it's nice and comfortable. But as soon as you start bringing it like around a corner or something like that, I lose a lot of leverage that I would have with a pistol grip, and it becomes really awkward. So that is something where the K2, being an extreme pistol grip, would be really helpful in a situation like that. Yeah, if you just hold out your hand, you can tell just by like if you're gripping it like that, it doesn't like maintain all the way back to your shoulder. Whereas if you have a pistol grip, more of that, you can feel it kind of just as natural and will maintain all the way back. So as soon as you go like shorter, it just makes a whole lot of sense to have that pistol grip. So the bonus grip that we don't actually have here is the Myad, the Magpul Myad. So if you really have no clue what you want, but you want to try a few different out, the Myad's kind of cool because it comes with a few different back straps that can make it really thick or really thin. And a lot of people tend to like that. It's similar to like on a Glock. If you've ever bought a Glock, that it comes with a bunch of different back straps. So if you like a really thick grip, then I guess you can run that. And the Myad's kind of cool like that. And then another feature of the Myad is if you are a nub fan, like on the A2 here, if you really love that nub, then it does give you the option to add that. So in addition to Magpul grips, which we just talked about a bunch of Magpul grips, there are a bunch of other grips out on the market. So if you're a really big fan of like finger grooves, that's a big deal to you. Hogue makes a lot of grips that people like. It gives you the rubber overmold and those finger grooves. If you're a hipster, you can go with Geisley and you're weird. And then Daniel Defense makes an interesting grip that like can come into the finger guard as well. It like is one piece, so that's kind of interesting. A lot of people really like the BCMs. They're similar to the K2 and having a really vertical grip angle, so those are really good ones. And then if you played too much Call of Duty, you can get a skeletonized grip and yell at your parents. So thanks guys for joining in, and that's it on our AR-15 grips.